walking you through my guitar build. The three components that I made are the body, the guitar strap, and the access control panel cover on the back here. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. I built my own spin on a Gibson Les Paul ES355, one of the most sought after guitars in the world. Your favorite band's favorite band uses this guitar. To name a few, you've got Chuck Berry, Noel Gallagher, The Strokes, Peter Cat Recording Co., The Rolling Stones, and even this guy who kind of looks like Bob Dylan. Money makes the world go round, so I designed my product for manufacturing based on cost. A new 355 can run you $2,000 and a 60s 355 can run you 25 grand. Mine costs 115 bucks. This is a picture of Alex G crying in concert because he can't afford a 355. My first step was to get this thing out of mind and onto paper, or in this case on a computer. I started with some CAD modeling in Blender, and then I used those to create some Adobe stencils to scale. Finally, I ran to the laser cutter with some MDF. I needed a top routing stencil and a hollow routing stencil. This is how the routing stencils turned out. I'm very proud of them. I wanted to make this build out of cherry wood, but poplar wood chose me. They were also out of cherry wood. Straight to the table saw with that pre-planed pop wood. I made sure to avoid doing any cross cuts on the table saw because I value my internal organs. I lined up the two pieces of poplar, which I still wish were cherry, and I made sure that the grains flowed in opposite directions, and then I glued them up and used every clamp I could find. Next, I spent about an hour sanding glue, and then I went over to the bandsaw, which at first I was terrified of, but now it's become one of my favorite machines. The spindle sander for the tight corners and the belt sander for the round bellies. This is my Stratocaster. YouTube guy said that plunge routing was the safest way to go, so I decided to listen to him, and this was the mess that I ended up with after that. This is me cleaning up that mess. I used a handheld router, which was definitely the most terrifying part of the build. There were some times where I didn't have 2 points of contact, but I ended up making it work. I used a nail gun before gluing the top on, and I don't really want to talk about it, so let's talk about soldering. Confusing diagram, even more confusing wire, and we're done. For the conch shell control panel cover, I glued a picture of a conch shell that I printed on some very shiny, very fancy paper to some clear polycarbonate sheet. I used 3 screws, but it wasn't shiny enough for me, so I cleaned it up a little bit and then reattached it. Finally, for the strap, I cut up some leather and I punched slits into the holes that would attach to the guitar. And then I asked my mom to teach me her ways of sewing. Then I strung up the guitar and my low E string broke as usual. And the next steps are, of course,